And welcome to another episode, another video on for my YouTube channel, as we're now in the off season. First video I'll be doing for the off season is my predicted fixture I got for Gather Round this year. As we know, it's going to be the 4th edition in Adelaide. And I'm hoping to go to more than 3 games this year. I've only been to like 5 games in the last 2 years, which is not a very good record. As I need to improve my record with that one for Gather Round. Anyways, we will get on with the prediction. On Thursday night, obviously we've got the Crows, because they're usually the team that starts off Gather Round. And this time my opponent I got is, well, I got him versus lowly Essendon at Adelaide Oval on Thursday night. The Crows are due for a win on Thursday night. Last two Thursday night Gather Round games I've been to, they've lost. They lost to Melbourne in 2024. I remember getting interviewed by Carman 22 after the game. Then I had a photo with him at half time. And then the Geelong game, it was a good game though. We were leading for most of the game, but Geelong came back and won by 19 points. And that was the moment when they booked their spot in the grand final. And we'll pause that scene, we'll edit that bit out. And on the Friday, I got 3:20 PM, Nord Oval. The two teams are about a shell of their former selves. Melbourne and the West Coast Eagles. Both teams have appointed 2 former St Kilda teammates as coaches. Melbourne have got Stephen King as their new coach. It might be the first Gather Round with one of either Jordan Barks or Sam Berry or probably Sam Flanders on their team, up against the West Coast Eagles, who are also starting life without Oscar Allen. As it might be Devon Robertson's first Gather Round game as an Eagle. And also they might be getting Brandon Starcevic if he can get over his concussion issues. They might be also looking to they could get Jacob Van Rooyen out of Melbourne, or Logan McDonald out of Sydney if they want to improve their forward line. And we'll pause that one ready for Carlton. And on Friday night, Gather Round, 7:20 PM. Same time I got the Thursday night one between Adelaide and Essendon I did earlier. It is the traditional rivalry. Over 120 years in the making. Carlton and Collingwood away from Melbourne, but this time not counting the COVID season. As we'll remember, they only played each other once away from the MCG or Melbourne in general, and that was at the Gabba in 2020. As in this one Gather Round, it'll be the second ever time I've got Carlton and Collingwood playing each other interstate. And we'll get to the next game. And on Saturday afternoon, 12:50 PM, we're going to be up at we're predicting I'm going to be up at the picturesque Barossa Valley, home of the wineries of South Australia, and also the home where Penfolds was founded in 1851. It was also settled by the Germans. And we got Richmond versus the Sydney Swans at Lyndoch Oval, now known as Barossa Park, as that ground got upgraded in time for Gather Round 2025. As sadly I didn't get to go to the Barossa in that one, as well, hopefully I can catch at least one of the games in the Valley next year. And we'll leave it there for game 5. And now on Saturday afternoon, 3:50 PM, Adelaide Oval. We got the twilight game between the Fremantle Dockers and the St Kilda Saints. This will be the first time the Saints will be playing at Adelaide Oval and Gather Round since 2023. And this will be the first time since 2024 Fremantle will be at Adelaide Oval for Gather Round. Should be a good game, and on the next game we'll be going for the grand final rematch on Saturday night. And on Saturday night for Gather Round, I've got the battle of the teams who have not lost a game since the inauguration of Gather Round. Brisbane and Geelong at Adelaide Oval. One is due for a loss in this match, or unless it ends up being a draw. That could be another possibility, and then I'd have to play that song after the game. It's a draw, both the teams are even. That was a funny song, that one. And this could be the game where the Cats could get their revenge from what happened last week. Or could the Lions do it again? And now we got the Sunday games to look at. And now on the Sunday, we've got the game at 12:10 p.m. at the Barossa Valley. We got the Barossa District Bulldogs. Oh, hang on. That's the same colours as the Western Bulldogs. Up against the Gold Coast Suns. Well, could we see the Suns wear pink in the Barossa again? Or will they stick to their normal home Guernsey? As for could the Western Bulldogs finally win a gather round game in South Australia? And they're due for a win over there. That's why I've relegated them to the Valley. Next game to look at is North Melbourne and the Giants at Nord. And for the second Sunday game, second to last game of the round, 2:50 p.m, Nord Oval. I got North Melbourne versus the Orange team. And that's GWS. Well, could the Kangaroos finally get a win in South Australia? They haven't won there since 2011. And that is close to 20 years ago. As for GWS, however, they have not lost a gather round game on random SANFL grounds. Could this be another game where Aaron Cadman and Jesse Hogan dominate these small grounds? And now we're up to the last game of the round. That's going to be a blockbuster. And on Sunday, the last game of the round, we got a 6:10 game at Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide versus Hawthorn. The rematch of the last game from the last gather round. Mm-hmm. Can Hawthorn actually show up at the first half this time? Or will Port Adelaide get another win against the Hawks in Adelaide? And anyways, while I take the scars off, because we'll be versing each other on gather round that week. First, I got the Adelaide versus Essendon game on Thursday night. It's going to be Sammy Gabbett, he's a Bomber supporter, versus me. I'm a Crow supporter myself. That should be a ripper. And on Friday night, I got Melbourne and West Coast. We got Druzy, he's an Eagles supporter, up against Kados McDonald, he's a Melbourne supporter. And on Friday night, we got Carlton versus Collingwood. We got Swoop Luke, he's a Magpie supporter, versus Shay Smithy, he's a Blues man himself. Sydney versus Richmond. So far, I'm just looking at AFL content creators who go for Sydney. It's I think the one who goes to the Swans for... Well, we're going to have to count Delta Goodrum for that one, as she's a Swan supporter, as I couldn't find any content creators who go for Sydney. And she's going to be up against Twisty Free. He's a Tiger supporter himself. Dockers and St Kilda. It's going to be UCAT versus Cardman 22. As UCAT loves his Freo and Cardman loves his Saints. Yep. Saturday night, Geelong versus Brisbane Lions. I've got Robbo and Reece Matheson, who both used to play for the Lions, and are now content creators themselves. Versus Dre Bennett's food channel. Make sure to follow his channel on TikTok, as he's a Geelong fan himself. As we get to a few more people, and now for Sunday, it's Western Bulldogs versus Gold Coast. We got Daniel Richmond Gorringe, the one who loves his Gold Coast Suns, versus Oscar Baker, currently he plays for the Bulldogs. GWS versus North Melbourne. It's going to be Jacob Gaynor versus... versus Wayne Carey, as he was a North Melbourne legend. And for the last game, we got Port Adelaide versus Hawthorn. It's going to be Roaming Has versus Zabanel. And that's the end of the video.